Okay, here we have another Carrera. This is a Carrera Fury 27.5, so it's a modern-ish bike, although it uses old geometry. It's not, slack, low and long like a modern bike is. This is 2019 Carrera Fury. Not as good as a 2020 Carrera Fury, but I digress. We have SRAM NX on here. Now, I've tried this before on giant rain and I could never get on with it. It just felt better on an 8-speed going uphill. It might have just been the bike itself, but this felt like it had massive gaps in the gears. It's hard to explain. The other group sets I haven't had a problem with, but it might have just been the bike I was on, which is a giant rain full suspension. Yeah, it uses the power spline bottom bracket though, which I'm not a fan of. Every single one of them I've ever seen has died a very short life. Bearings are made out of Wensleydale generally, and it's not outboard bearings, they're inboard, and you've got to use the old-fashioned tool to remove it. It's all a bit of a faff really, and as far as I'm concerned doesn't have a right to exist in 2021, not on a modern 11-speed bike anyway. So power spline is a bit of a letdown. This thing doesn't use much, the chain's kind of dirty and a bit rusty. We do have reinforced spoke eyelets on the rear wheel, Formula hubs I believe. We have SRAM level brakes on here, which aren't too bad, they stop really well. Bit of a pain to bleed I'm told, but hey. We have SR Suntour Radeon forks with that horrible, and I mean horrible, Q-lock axle. I hate these. Why not just have a thread? Why not make it just threaded in here, so you undo it like every other sort of axle? But no, they had to try and be clever with a horrible little expanding wedge thing, which people always seem to break. I've not actually broken one myself, but everyone I've seen has been broken by somebody else, because they're really delicate and fragile if you handle them wrong. But apart from that, they're all there. It's just lockout, they're an air fork. It's horribly windy today, I may add. But yeah, overall, not a bad bike for £500. It's definitely spec wise close to a B-Twin 560. I mean, some would argue the gears are better, but the forks are better, but they're Suntour, so they're immediately not better than RockShox because they're not oil lubricated, they're grease lubricated. Suntour forks are grease lubricated, which is far worse. The grease just goes to the bottom. You need to re-grease the damn thing every 5 minutes to have it feeling nice, and it still doesn't feel quite as nice because you feel the resistance of the grease. But I digress, that's just my opinion on grease lubricated forks in general. So yeah, not a bad mountain bike. I am selling this one. I'm just going to clean it up, change a few bolts around, and yeah, thank you for watching.